Herron, who comes off an outstanding regular season, a 2.94 goals against average, has played in both playoff games against Toronto because of that knee injury suffered about a month ago by Dunk Wilson. Started out in the Pittsburgh organization, dealt over to Kansas City, spent a couple of years with Kansas City, and then back to Pittsburgh. Now, the man with the most shots on goal during the course of the opening 2 games of the series is a defenseman. Pittsburgh defenseman Ron Stackhouse, who scored 2 goals in the Pittsburgh victory up in Toronto on Thursday night. Now, the big guns for the Penguins, although it has been a disappointing season for both. Number 19, Jean Pronovost, a 52-goal scorer last season. He dipped down to 33 this year, but Pronovost led the club in scoring and was an all-star once again. And number 10, Pierre LaRouche, a 53-goal scorer just a year ago, but in a season of turmoil, LaRouche has scored only 29, but he has come on very well at the end of the regular season. So a quickie capsule report on the Penguins and the Maple Leafs. We'll be back with the opening face-off right after these words.
I'd like to welcome you on board Eastern's Flight 5.
This isn't just a seat on a local bus. This is an airline seat, an Eastern Airlines seat, and you pay good money to sit in it. You expect a lot in return. You expect to know that when you make a reservation for a seat, it'll be there waiting for you, that it won't be given away to someone else. And when you do sit here, you expect courteous, prompt service, whether it's an extra cup of coffee or just a question answered about connecting flights. The point I'm making is simple. We know what it's going to take to get you to fly Eastern the next time and the time after that. Fancy slogans didn't win us 2 million more passengers last year than the year before. It was personal service. We're succeeding, but we can't stop here. Because if we want you to fly Eastern all the time, and we do, we have to earn our wings every day. Every day.
Everything okay?
Mr. Butkus and I have a problem. I do not appreciate American football.
And I don't appreciate rugby.
However, there is one thing we both appreciate. Light beer from Miller. Light contains a third less calories than their regular beer. It's also less filling.
But our favorite thing is the way it tastes.
Quite right, Dickie boy. I'll never like your football, but I do love your light beer.
Mike, I'll never like rugby, but I do love those cute little shorts.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Tuesday night at Pittsburgh, Toronto beat the Penguins by the score of 4-2. An outstanding game for Darryl Sittler with 2 assists and an empty net goal to wrap it. And Thursday night at Toronto, Pittsburgh beat Toronto by the score of 6-4 as Ron Stackhouse scored 2. Now the Canadian national anthem preceded by the U.S. national anthem. As I said, better than 16,000 here at the Civic Arena. And that is a record for a playoff game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The officials, the man in the middle, the referee, Bruce Hood, the linesman, Ron Finn on the right, and Neil Armstrong just skated out of your picture. And a look at the goaltenders, Mike Palmateer on the left, Dennis Herron on the right side. And we're set for the opening face-off for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It'll be George Ferguson, number 10, on your left. Pierre LaRouche, number 10 for Pittsburgh, on your right. Rick Kehoe, number 8 of the Penguins, slaps it This is Jim McKinney flipping in. It's to the left side of the Pittsburgh goal, but a whistle for an offside. So they will bring it back.
In this packed house tonight here of over 16,000 you mentioned, Marv, they've come to see a hockey game. They let their Penguins know right off the bat that they're behind them, so this is some kind of a game.
This after the disappointing crowd here in Pittsburgh last Tuesday, so the Penguins and Pittsburgh management have to be much encouraged as Dave Burrows slips it in. Palmateer then throws it around the board. Errol Thompson checked on the play. This is Kelly with the shot. Picked away by Palmateer, and Salming able to clear out of the zone. Ferguson, number 10. Strict check by Kelly, number 22. Kelly with a good hard hit on Turnbull, prompting that roar from the crowd. So Pittsburgh coming out very physical at the start, and it has been a physical series. Now icing called on the Maple Leafs.
Nice key save early in the game by young Palmateer. We were talking earlier before we went on the air, Marv, as to that young Palmateer will gamble in that net. He's much like Eddie Jocelyn. He'll move around, roam out, and right there is his style is to sprawl and stop the puck the best way he knows how. This shot is a good shot by Battleship Kelly from the middle of the slot. Number 8's going right in on Palmateer. He sprawls and just throws himself in front of that puck, and I guess they say it's not how, but how effective you are at it, Marv.
And Rick Kehoe, the former Toronto Maple Leaf, who had done very well against the Maple Leafs right through the regular season, had that good opportunity in front, but was stopped by Palmateer. Just the opening minute of play, first period, game 3, third and final game of the preliminary series. Sittler's drive is gloved by Heron, and he holds on. That will make for a face-off deep in the Pittsburgh end. How do you evaluate young goaltender Dennis Heron?
When you come back to our scouting reports out of the Philadelphia Flyers camp, we try to keep the puck away from his glove hand if it's all possible. Marv, the scouting reports around the league is that Dennis Heron's very good with his glove.
Face off now, deep in the Pittsburgh end. Rookie Greg Malone for the Penguins on the draw. This is Wayne Bianchin. Bianchin fighting his way in. A penalty upcoming against Toronto. And as the Leafs take possession, the penalty being called by Bruce Hood. A hooking penalty against the Maple Leafs. So Wayne Bianchin cutting in, hooked from behind, and that will give the Penguins the man advantage. Been a strange season for Bianchin. His stats show 28 goals and 6 assists. And Terry, the way that has been explained is that some people here in Pittsburgh say, well, most of his passes have ended up in the net. All right, there's a break of the action. The score, Pittsburgh nothing, Toronto nothing.
Number 23, Randy Carlisle. 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty.
High-speed motorsport competition and an inside look at the men who are the racers. This series, starring 2-time Indy 500 winner Johnny Rutherford, boasts fast action, high drama, and you see it all from the driver's seat. Watch The Racers.
Treat yourself to a front seat ride packed with the excitement, anguish, and thrill of professional racing as Channel 53 presents The Racers, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
Randy Carlisle of Toronto off for hooking at 105. Penguins have the man advantage. Salming looks to clear, but the puck directed by hand, and it will face off once again. There's Carlisle, the number 1 draft pick of the Maple Leafs. In the penalty box, McDonald gets it out for Kehoe. Stackhouse on the right point, Kehoe left. That's McDonald centering. Broken up by Salming. Salming falls down. McDonald able to kick it around. That's Pronovo, number 19. For Kehoe, from the left point, he shoots, and it's stopped. Backhander by Pronovo went wide. Stackhouse able to keep it in. Pronovo checked to the boards by Salming. Looked to get it out, but Ferguson able to clear all the way down. 30 seconds gone by on the Toronto penalty. No score. We are early first period. Marv Albert and Terry Crisp of the Philadelphia Flyers speaking from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. And the Penguins now move across the Toronto line. That puck deflects back to the right of Palmateer. Kept in by McDonald, number 18. Watched by Turnbull. Now McDonald back behind the goal. LaRouche returns. Shot is kicked out by Palmateer. Kehoe is blocked. Kehoe again inadvertently hit his own man, and McDonald is down and hurt. Stackhouse for LaRouche. For McDonald in front, could not get the shot off. Oh, McDonald played only 3 games during the regular season because of an knee injury. He was just shaken up in front of that Toronto goal. Ferguson killing the clock. Salming fires ahead, and the Leafs able to clear. We have a half-minute remaining now on the Toronto penalty on Carlisle as both clubs change on the fly. Now the Penguins starting up. Rookie defenseman Faubert getting it out. That shot blocked by Salming. Ashby can't clear out of the zone. This is Kehoe, number 8. His slap goes off the mark. Salming kept in again by the Penguins. Salming then winds around, and Ashby able to get a stick on it, and Faubert could not keep it in. Here's Carlisle returning, and so the Maple Leafs able to kill off the penalty. That drive by Ashby is stopped as Heron covers up, and Ashby talking it over with Wayne Bianchon. And as I said earlier, Terry, this has been a physical series. There have been several disagreements in the earlier game.
Lanny McDonald come right down the right wing on that. He'll break right off the right wing, fakes to go behind the net, and he tries to stuff it in his short pad as he's going behind Marv, but Dennis Heron, not to be fooled on it, stuck his foot up against that post, hung right on and sprawled. And then number 9, young Ashby came in and tried to flip it over, but Heron very alertly just smothered up and wisely took the face off to the left of his net.
Don Ashby, number 9, will go on this face-off, considered the Toronto Maple Leafs' most improved player this season. And now Red Kelly changes his mind and sends on Stan Weir to go against Silaps of Pittsburgh. All right, Penguins get it out of the zone. That's Stackhouse. Now Burroughs winds it around, and the Penguins start up. Palmateer letting it go. And the Leafs able to clear the zone. Burroughs could not handle it at center. He is chased by Neely. Neely swinging Burroughs around. That drive gloved by Heron. And he'll hold on. Pat Boutet looking for the short side. We have no score. 4 minutes gone by in this first period of the faceoff coming up deep in the Pittsburgh end. A look at defenseman Dave Burroughs.
And I think, in my estimation, young Davy Burroughs, one of the more underrated defensemen in the league. In fact, he has to be among the top 5 or 6 as defensively in the league as there is.
Off the face, Weir control. That drive stopped. And the Penguins able to control. Mike Corrigan leading the attack. Here's Pronovo. Ends up in the crowd on a deflection as Pronovo was led beautifully by Corrigan.
Davy Burroughs, a nice fine play down in front of his own net to block that puck. The only thing Davy's hoping is that he blocks that.
All right, a break in the action now with the score. Pittsburgh nothing.
Ford dealers got new spring wheels, lively wheels to get away. Turn on, turn on, turn on, turn on the spring wheels.
Turn on to the action look of this spectacular new LTD2. And for the European buff, the new Granada Sports Coupe, sportier than ever.
Turn on, turn on, turn on the spring wheels.
Roll on in and turn on to the liveliest, best-looking wheels your Ford dealer has ever had.
Greg Malone and Darryl Sittler on this face-off. And the Leafs get it out of the zone. Rookie Russ Anderson dumps it right back in. Salming chased by the rookie Malone. Salming pins Malone, but the Leafs take control. Lanny McDonald, number 7. Up for Darryl Sittler. The lead for Dave Tiger Williams, who throws in. Stackhouse could not clear the zone. Now Anderson, by way of the University of Minnesota, having an outstanding rookie year, looked to clear out but could not. Williams bumping now with Stackhouse. That pass fails to click, and it carries all the way down. Bianchon able to keep it in Toronto territory, but can't control, and McDonald clears ahead. Backhander goes wide by Bianchon. Hard hit back behind the Toronto net. Stackhouse's shot is deflected. Anderson, number 7. Now Malone centers, but Sittler breaks it up. Darryl Sittler on the right wing for Lanny McDonald. Wayne Bianchin and Lanny McDonald come together, and Anderson rolls it around. That's Blair Chapman throwing out. Leafs firing it back in. McDonald plays off the board. That swing shot stopped by the stick of Heron. McDonald goes wide, and Heron sweeps it to him.
Both teams going to the body early in this game, as you mentioned numerous times, Marv. And both goaltenders coming up with some big key saves. Lanny McDonald at number 7, the big right winger for the Leafs, he likes to use the body in there. And along with Sittler and Tiger Williams, they make a pretty hefty line up front. Sittler feeds McDonald. McDonald just couldn't get full wood on that puck and just sort of eased it by the side of the net. Coach Kenny Shink before the Pittsburgh Penguins shows a lot of faith in Malone, Bianchin, and Chapman out-checking that Sittler line.
Penguins clearing it out. Carlisle throws it ahead. That's McKenny, number 18. Burrows checked by Ferguson, and that results in a face-off. 5.5 into this first period at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, and the Maple Leafs and Penguins are 0-0. It'll be LaRouche and Ferguson on the face-off. Carlisle. His slap shot is smothered. And Kehoe starts up. Left wing feed knocked away, but LaRouche able to shoot it in. Now McKenny winds it around. Again, a hard hit, as you saw. Kehoe able to keep it as he and Pellick came together. And Carlisle throws it around. And the Leafs start up. Ferguson with a right wing feed for McKenny. McKenny is taken to the boards. That shot by Ferguson is gloved by Heron. And we get a stoppage.
Both these clubs come to play right now, Marvin. I mentioned earlier about this better than 16,000 crowd. They're loving every part of it.
A look at the Penguin goaltender, Dennis Heron, 2.94 goals against. At one point during the course of the regular season, toward the end of the year, he was unbeaten in 13 in a row. He has lost only 2 of 14 here at the Civic Arena this season. Both clubs make changes now. Bob Neely up on the left wing now, can go back line and up front. Cut by Turnbull, stopped and cleared aside by Apps. Turnbull again. On a deflection, it carries wide. Ian Turnbull with 2 hard drives from the point. And the puck pinned back behind the goal. That's Russ Anderson, number 7. Who was thrown out of the game here on Thursday night in the early minutes after getting involved.
Russ Anderson, one of their rookies, I guess you'd call him the designated policeman on this club right now, Marv. He was trying to move young number 14, Stan Weir, out of the front of the net, which is his job. Protect their goaltender, Dennis Heron, and give him a chance to see that puck, which he was doing maybe a little too strongly than he should have.
Anderson originally went to the University of Minnesota intending to be a college linebacker, then found that he enjoyed hockey a bit more. And he's called the enforcer. Now there's Weir getting involved once again. It was he and Anderson earlier. And the sticks are up high, and Bruce Hood will hand out some penalties.
Both these teams are geared for this game right now, Marv. You know it's a do or die. It's either a matter of going on in the Stanley Cup quest or going home early. And right now, you see number 14, Stan Weir, as I mentioned earlier. He was in that bit of a scuffle with Anderson in front of the net. The fans there, and right now you have just a general melee going around in the corner with nobody really doing much damage, and referee Bruce Hood and linesman Neil Armstrong trying their best to put a little semblance of order down there. We'll take a moment and see what referee Bruce Hood does call.
Stan Weir was involved just moments ago with the big defenseman, Russ Anderson, who goes 6'3" and 210 pounds. Penalties being handed out by Hood.
The other 2 guys, 2 each roughing. Number 7.
There's a break in the action now with the score. The Toronto Maple Leafs 0, Pittsburgh Penguins 0.
Looking for a better bottom line? New ways to improve cash flow? Reduce expenses? Increase sales? Speed operations? Or control inventory? Telecommunications can help. Ask our specialist in your business to show you how, at no extra charge. Because it's all part of the service, from the people who also bring you the most reliable telephone service in the world.
Boutet and Anderson, 2 minutes each for roughing. Apps, 2 minutes for boarding.
Here are the penalties. Boutet, 2 minutes for roughing. Apps, 2 minutes. Boarding. Anderson, 2 minutes for roughing. So the Toronto Maple Leafs now will have the man advantage in a 4-on-3 skating situation.
They're throwing up front right now. Daryl Sittler, along with Lanny McDonald, and back on the point they have Ian Turnbull and Borje Salming, two pretty good shooters back there. Turnbull proving that effect with scoring 5 goals one night in Detroit all by himself.
Time of the penalties, 6:37. Here's another look.
There's Heron doing some awful quick work right in front of there. And there was Stan Weir where he was supposed to be. You just saw Anderson take him completely out of your picture to the side, which I guess in a way is his job also.
So the face-off coming up deep in the Pittsburgh end.
Right, Marvin. I mentioned that 5 goals were scored by Ian Turnbull in Detroit. If I mentioned Sittler, I'll stand corrected on that.
Darrow will take it, though. Of course, he had a pretty good night in the playoffs last season.
He pumped 5 in against the Philadelphia Flyers himself one night, Darryl Sittler.
Were you covering him, Terry?
From long distance.
All right, Maple Leafs with the man advantage. That's Lanny McDonald. McDonald setting up. He has Turnbull in front. Throws out instead to the point. Now Salming for Sittler. And Heron makes the glove save.
Another shot. Got to keep that puck down when they're working that penalty 4-on-3 right there. Any puck up high, Heron's going to gobble up. You know it is. They're using the box. Pittsburgh defending on the triangle. And 27 right there, Daryl Sittler gets a good shot away, but it gets a little too high, just right in the midsection, and a routine save for Heron, really.
It is Sittler, McDonald, Turnbull, and Salming on this 4-on-3 skating advantage for the Maple Leafs. We have no score. First period, 7 minutes gone by, and Burroughs able to clear for Pittsburgh. Palmateer gets it started with that flip for Salming. Now here's Borje Salming for Daryl Sittler. Moving on Burroughs, McDonald the trailer. Sittler centers, broken up by Stackhouse. Sittler for Turnbull. It is blocked. Kept alive, though, by the Leafs. Turnbull just wide. He went for the right-hand corner. Salming keeps in. Now Sittler. Turnbull. And Heron again makes the stop.
Dennis Heron does everything he can possibly do to keep Pittsburgh in this game. The Maple Leafs are moving that puck around well, Marv. They got the 4-point box system on their power play right now against the triangle that Pittsburgh is trying to put up. But Dennis Heron has been equivalent to everything they've thrown at him right there. Turnbull gets the puck just to the right of the net, spins very quickly and lets his shot go. But once again, the Toronto Maple Leafs have got their shots up a little high. And if you're looking for a rebound, they've got to get them down low on the ice. I mentioned earlier, Heron's good with that glove. He's not going to let too many rebounds bounce around him.
1:07 remaining on the penalties and the power play advantage. 12.5 left first period. We have no score. It'll be Sittler and the rookie Malone on the face. Again, the Leafs control it. Salming. Sittler. Salming in close. The drive stopped again by Heron, and he clears it aside. Sittler drives one, blocked. Kept in by Salming. 45 seconds to the man advantage. McDonald chases, but beaten by Burroughs. Good play by Dave Burroughs and cleared. "35 seconds now to the Toronto man advantage as Turnbull races it up. Turnbull across the Pittsburgh line is checked by Stackhouse. Sittler for Salming. Turnbull with the rebound, and he fires wide, and Salming has to chase down. 15 seconds remaining to the Toronto power play as the Penguins change on the fly. Here's McDonald across the line for Salming. Salming with the slap score. And Heron seemed to have it in his glove, but could not hold on, with Lanny McDonald causing havoc in front of the net.
Borje Salming once again from the point, and they set that up well from him. He got good wood on it, and Heron does get a piece of that puck. He sticks his pad out, gets a hunk of it. Lanny McDonald's parked right in front of Heron, putting up a screen. Heron's going down to try and get a look at that puck. The pad's at maybe a bit of an angle, and the puck catches the pad, just shoots up on into the net. So Salming puts the Leafs ahead 1-0 at 11:26 remaining in the first period.
Only 3 seconds remaining to the man advantage. But Salming able to fire it through. His second goal of the playoff series, a power play assisted by Pelech and McDonald at 8:34. Now both clubs down a man for 3 seconds, and that'll be it. Carlisle, number 23 for Toronto, controls the face, and now both clubs are at full strength. 1-0, Toronto on top on that power play goal by Boria Salming after Heron was able to resist much of the Toronto pressure with spectacular goaltending. That call by Bruce Hood is directing the puck with stick over the shoulder, so the play is whistled dead, and they'll face off at center ice.
On that last power play by the Leafs, I think that young Davy Burrows, you mentioned earlier, but he must be warming the cockles of Coach Al Arbour's heart, because Al Arbour was a past master at blocking shots, and Davy Burrows sure did his job on that penalty.
Carlisle of Toronto, checked by Kelly, gets it ahead. McKenny ends up on top of the puck. Crowd roaring here, of course, whenever that happens, wherever the rink, the home crowd wants the delay of game called. But they'll face off inside the Toronto line. It'll be LaRouche and Ferguson on this face-off. All right, Faubert throws it ahead. Carlisle of Toronto shoots out of the zone. That's Don Orey, veteran defenseman, throwing in, but the Penguins ahead of the play and offside. Maple Leafs lead it by the score of 1-0, 10 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in this first period. Pittsburgh and Toronto had very similar regular seasons. Pittsburgh finishing third in the Norris, 2 points behind LA. Toronto third in the Adams. They both finished with 81 points on the year. Both clubs have had all kinds of injury problems to key players during the course of the season. Kelly and McKenny chased down, and as the touch is made, the whistle for icing, so they'll bring it all the way down. But first, a break in the action with the...
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving in San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it. When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
And Terry Crisp of the Philadelphia Flyers from the Civic Arena. In Pittsburgh, the face-off deep in the Toronto end, controlled by the Penguins. That centering feed by Pronovo, broken up by Salming. Pronovo out to the point. Shot by Stackhouse on the screen, went wide. Kept in by Anderson, and a penalty upcoming, a holding penalty called by Bruce Hood. As that shot was let loose, the penalty being called by Hood on the Pittsburgh Penguins, John Pronovo.
Number 15 for the Leafs was going for the puck along the boards, and Pronovo was checking him. And I think it might be called
Number 19, John Pronovo, 2 minutes for holding.
Interference, right. He was called for interfering with number 15, Boutet, who was heading for the puck ahead of him. Pronovo just put the clamp on him, dragged him down. Referee Bruce Hood standing right there. Couldn't fail to call that one. So right now the Leafs will get another man advantage, a chance to go ahead 2-0.
Time of the penalty, 9:46. Sittler on this face-off for Toronto with Schock. That's Schock watching Salming, who gets it ahead. Now Sittler for McDonald down the right side. McDonald checked by Anderson. Centers. Salming tries one. That is a pad save by Herring. And the Penguins able to clear all the way down. Boria Salming with another good opportunity. That's Salming, watched by Faubert. Sending around for McDonald, leaving it for Turnbull. 1:25 left on the Pittsburgh penalty. And an offside whistle. Face-off coming up now outside the Pittsburgh blue line.
Tiger Williams cutting across the Pittsburgh blue line. They tried to hit him with a pass, just failed. And this other Stanley Cup action playoff tonight, out on the West Coast, we have Atlanta playing the LA Kings, and that'll be a late game out there, Marv.
Now, that is a third and final game of a preliminary series. Islanders having wrapped up against Chicago despite the heroic goaltending by Tony Esposito. Sidler's drive ends up in the crowd. Islanders sweeping the Blackhawks, and the Buffalo Sabres defeating the Minnesota North Stars in 2 straight. So the 2 remaining playoff series, this one right here with Toronto and Pittsburgh even at 1, and Atlanta and LA later on. That series also tied at 1. Minute 15 remaining on the Pittsburgh penalty to Pronovo. Salming faking the shot, then giving off the boards for Weir. Weir's drive is deflected to the crowd. So, with 9:21 remaining in the first period, the face-off is moved outside the Pittsburgh line. Apparently, it was not deflected, and that shot went to the crowd, last touched by Toronto.
Number 22 going across in front of goaltender Dennis Aaron. I think Tiger Williams just might have tipped that one up and over the glass. I was watching the Leafs work out this morning, and they must have practiced for 20 minutes and nothing but tip-ins in front of that net.
Salming. Pass off the boards for Weir, leading Sittler. McDonald with a beautiful save made by Heron to Rob McDonald, who sets up from behind the goal. McDonald now in front. Williams stopped by Heron. Spectacular acrobatic save by Dennis Heron.
Well, this crowd better give Dennis Heron a standing ovation right now. I'll tell you, watch him dive across and get this puck. He's all alone there. It's almost like he's abandoned. He makes one leap from his right to his left, catches that puck in midair, and Marv, if there's such a thing as a goaltender renegotiating in the middle of playoffs, Dennis Heron has proper grounds for it right now. He has kept Pittsburgh Penguins in this game all the way.
Dennis Heron was voted most valuable player on the team this season by the players, and the other goaltender, Dunk Wilson, voted most valuable player on the Pittsburgh Penguins by the fans. Penguins got outstanding goaltending this season.
If you're going to go anywhere at all, Marv, you've got to have it. That's where it starts from. You start building your team around your goaltenders and work out. And I mentioned before the broadcast, if you're going to win anything, it's got to be through your goaltending.
40 seconds remaining on the penalty. Sillaps, number 26. Can't clear. Weir keeps in. Sittler trying to hit Weir, but it's broken up. Malone now tries to fire out and does. Rick Malone finally getting out of the zone. Salming back for it. Now 15 seconds remaining on the Pronovo penalty. Leaps up 1-0 on a power play goal by Salming. Heron for Malone, who takes that check for McDonald. Salming able to keep in. That's McDonald. Now Sittler. Here's Turnbull. Penalty has expired as Anderson checked McDonald down. Pronovo has returned. That's Pronovo moving at center. Around Turnbull for the shot. Glove save, Palmateer. And it's cleared around by Turnbull. Penguins able to keep it in. Salming checked by Pronovo. Good checking by Pronovo. Now takes away from Williams, but he's dumped on the play. Fans here looking for a tripping penalty on Williams, but it's not called as Pronovo was taken down, and the Maple Leafs ice it. So there's a break in the action with the score, Toronto 1 and Pittsburgh 0.
You're going to get your high school diploma, but are you going to get a job? You can. When you graduate to the United States Marines. The Corps has good jobs for those who prove they can measure up. Your education can get you into fields like aviation, electronics. Talk to your Marine recruiter or call this toll-free number. The Marines, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Battleship Kelly wearing that brace around his neck to protect himself from any further injury. And I think that Eric Vail of the Atlanta Flames wore one for a while. And one of our players also, Barry Askew, wore one to protect himself from further injury. So that's a good idea.
Face off deep in the Toronto end. Maple Leafs leading it 1-0, 7.5 left first period. And Ron Finn, the linesman, dissatisfied with both LaRouche and Ferguson, so we get McKinney going against Kehoe. And the Leafs control it. Ferguson dumping out at center for Thompson. Thompson's shot deflected away by Burroughs, and Heron flips it off the boards. Kept in, though, by Ferguson. Centering feed. McKinney could not handle it. As LaRouche and Ferguson turn each other around. McKinney now trying to make a move on Burroughs, who took him out of the play. Kelly back for it. Kelly is tied up by McKinney. Some tough checking by McKinney, who's hit down, and a penalty as a result.
Jim McKinney doing some good grinding along the boards in the corner for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And number 22, big Battleship Kelly, was put a great big arm on him, wouldn't let him go at all. Referee Bruce Hood let it go for a while, but it would just become so obvious that when Battleship Kelly put the arm lock on him, threw McKinney to the ice, referee Bruce Hood had to call 2 minutes. So once again, Marv, Pittsburgh behind the 8 ball. Kelly 2 minutes for holding for Pittsburgh.
Time of the penalty, 12:52. Terry, here's another look at it.
Right, Jim McKinney gets that puck along the board, starts to move into the Pittsburgh end. Kelly puts a hold on him, just keeps holding, almost like a semi-wrestling lock on Jim McKinney. Just throws him right down to the ice, possibly going for 2 out of 3 falls on that play right there. But once again, referee Bruce Hood caught the Penguins, and they're down again.
And that time, the persistent checking of McKinney prompted the penalty. 4 penalties have been called against Pittsburgh, now 2 against Toronto. Leafs with the man advantage. Once again, here's McKinney. Centering feed and a good one, but Ferguson not able to get the shot off. McKinney's backhander is stopped, and it's covered up in front of Heron.
On the penalties so far tonight, Marv, the Toronto Maple Leafs, for some reason, seem to have got the Penguins boxed in a tight, narrow box in front of their own net. And as I mentioned, if it hadn't been for goaltender Dennis Heron coming out and challenging those shooters, there could be a lot more damage done than what there is right now.
And he's facing another Toronto power play. Soming had trouble teeing up, able to slip it behind Heron, and Heron wisely clamps the glove down. And again, big rookie defenseman Russ Anderson playing policeman in front, not taking any chances, did not want any contact with his goaltender.
He's letting it be known that you're not going to stand around in front of his goaltender, Dennis Heron, tonight. And I don't blame him. There's referee Bruce Hood for tonight's game, calling a few penalties on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Anderson rolls it around. That's Pronovo. Can't clear out of the zone. And now Penguins able to get it out. That's Soming. 6.5 remaining. First period. Maple Leafs lead it 1-0. Minute and a half on the Pittsburgh penalty to Kelly. McKinney trying to throw it back the other way. And on the pileup, face-off coming up. Soming from Pellick and McDonald at 8:34 on a power play. And that has provided the Maple Leafs with the 1-0 lead. There's George Ferguson, good checking centerman for the Maple Leafs.
He likes to go to the body also. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have 4 or 5 young players that are using the body very well.
Face-off again, deep in the Pittsburgh end. Darryl Sittler has come on, and he'll go on this face as the linesman Neil Armstrong drops it. Controlled by the Penguins, Stackhouse, and able to clear out of the zone. That's Turnbull back for it. Back for Soming. Now the Leafs setting up in deliberate fashion. McDonald crosses the Pittsburgh line. McDonald with the lead for Sittler. Sittler is bottled up by Stackhouse. Sittler throws to McDonald. McDonald back for Sittler. Checked by Anderson. Now Sittler. This is Soming. And Sittler has the wide open shot. It is blocked. Blocked by Anderson, who's hurt. Play continues now. Turnbull scores!
Here we go in front of the net right now. Tiger Williams and Dennis Heron are going at it. And I believe it's number 26 jumped in the back of Tiger Williams to get this going. Battleship Kelly come out of the penalty box right now, grabbing a hold of Darryl Sittler in front of the net. And that broke out because Russ Anderson had got hit with a shot, was laying on the ice. They made the play to I believe it was Ian Turnbull. That's all alone the slot. He had just made it 2-0. And I didn't quite catch what happened with Williams and Dennis Heron in the goal crease. We looked over and they were going at it, throwing punches.
Dave Tiger Williams has been doing a lot of talking in the press, putting down the Pittsburgh Penguins right throughout this series, so I don't think it would have taken much to ignite something between any Pittsburgh player and Tiger Williams. Here they are coming together, and it looks like Heron got a stick right in the face mask.
You see it right there why Heron's really perturbed. I'll tell you, that's some play by Tiger Williams. He locked his stick behind Heron's leg and just kept tugging, pulled him right out of the crease when Ian Turnbull put that in. And I don't know if referee Bruce Hood saw it or not, but Dennis Heron has every right in the world to be angry at him, because if that goal stands up, it'll give the Maple Leafs a 2-0 lead in this crucial game. And Tiger Williams is stationed in front of the net. Lanny McDonald is off to the right. Right there is where Anderson blocked the shot in the ribs. And then Lanny McDonald makes the play out to Ian Turnbull all alone in the slot. And while this is going on, number 22, you can see right there where Tiger Williams dragged him right from the crease. There's tit for tat. A left and a right, and Dennis Heron wasn't taking any chances at all with Williams. And right there, Still Apps come into it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Still Apps leave the game as third man in, Marv, on that deal. But I don't see the score up there yet, so I'm not sure what referee Bruce Hood is calling.
Apps try to help out his goaltender, look to pull Williams away from Heron, and now Apps is headed back to the locker room, and apparently he has had it as third man in. Tiger Williams has been living in the crease of the Pittsburgh Penguins right throughout this series. Bruce Hood talking it over now with the linesman, and we'll have the rundown on the calls in just a moment. Right here, though, there's a break in the action with the score. It has not been posted as of yet, and the Penguins nothing.
Port of call, South Pacific.
Liberty call.
The Navy. See a recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Pittsburgh, they have now officially posted the Maple Leaf score. The Leafs now do lead it by the score of 2-0. Still Apps did receive the game misconduct as third man in, and still, of course, an important player for the Penguins, so that's a major loss. Here's the rundown on the penalties called at 14-14 by Bruce Hood. Dave Williams, 5 minutes for fighting. Dennis Heron, 5 minutes for fighting, and Apps, the game misconduct.
Right there is the finishing product, sort of. Heron knew that what Tiger Williams had done to him. He gets a quick left into it. Williams retaliates with one, and they're both standing toe-to-toe going at it right there. No damage really being done by Williams or Heron, and Still Apps come in, and I think maybe just a little hasty coming in there with Still Apps, because his goaltender really, I mean, the main thing you do, Marv, is to protect your goaltender at all costs right off the bat, but he was not in any trouble at all, and Still Apps comes in and grabs Tiger Williams from behind just when mostly it's all over. Right there is where Tiger Williams has dragged him from his crease in front of the net right out, and there's the puck coming in by a high shot from Turnbull. Heron's standing no chance whatsoever, and right there is the only way he knows how to retaliate, through sheer frustration. And it continued on in, and as we said, Still Apps come in, third man in. He is now out of the game, and you mentioned, Marv, that could hurt Pittsburgh. He's an important cog in this machine, and to lose him in a big game like this early in the game, it's got to show up in later on.
All right, Terry, what do you say in the case of a goaltender like Heron involved in a fight? How do you, as a player, settle him down? What do you tell the guy? Obviously, he has to be pretty riled up, and I'm sure Toronto just loves to even think of the goaltender they're going against as being a little bit on the testy side after getting involved in fisticuffs.
A lot of goaltenders get themselves in the game that way. Billy Smith for the Islanders just loves to scrap and go, as you know, Marv. A lot of goaltenders can accept it, do it, then forget it the second that it's over with. Right now, you'll see that Pittsburgh will be sort of taking their time, delaying the game, maybe trying to settle him down again. But I think the main thing right now that Heron will be really perturbed about is not so much the fighting and the penalty, but the way that second big goal for Leafs goes in and gives them the lead, especially after him being interfered with by Williams so obviously.
The second Toronto goal was scored by Turnbull, his second of the playoffs. Power play once again. McDonald and Sittler assist at 14-14, and Battleship Bob Kelly is serving the Dennis Heron penalty.
Battleship Kelly come racing out of the penalty box when that fracas broke out, but he was eligible to come out of there because as soon as that goal was scored, his penalty was nullified and allowed to come back on the ice.
And Hood came over to the Pittsburgh bench to say that Kelly cannot serve the penalty because he was not on the ice at the time of the altercation. Kelly did come on, but after that goal was scored, so Jean Pronovost will serve it instead of Kelly as the discussion continues, and Bruce Hood would like to get things underway with a face-off here in center ice. 5:46 remaining in what has been a furious first period, and the Maple Leafs up by the score of 2-0 on 2 power play goals, and now it appears we're set for the face-off. It'll be Ron Schock on the draw against Stan Weir. Art Carlisle throws ahead. Both clubs now at full strength. Now Schock. Schock dumps in, left side of Palmateer. Lowell McDonald can't get to it, and it's cleared out of the zone. That drive by Boutet. Blocked beautifully by Ori, and the Penguins start up. Hogan with a beautiful setup, but Palmateer able to break it up. Carlisle took the bump from Corrigan. Now Boutet can't find it. Good checking by this Penguin unit. This is Burroughs, and Burroughs dumps it in. Palmateer leaves for Carlisle, whips it around for Neely. And Neely throws it out, but Stackhouse intercepts for Anderson, who apparently is all right after blocking that shot moments ago. Ferguson off the steal. Ferguson hit by Anderson. Now Kehoe of Pittsburgh recaptures, but a whistle for an offside. They'll bring it back. Face-off coming up outside the Pittsburgh line. Here's a look at that last play set up by Corrigan from the near side.
Palmateer made a nice save on Ronnie Schock. The puck was just passed across. Schock drove right down the slot, being chased by the Leafs player. He threw himself, got a piece of the puck, and I'm not sure if that puck went off his pad or off the post and didn't bother going in. And Pittsburgh is now getting a penalty. I saw referee Bruce Hood counting the Pittsburgh players just at the end of that call, and I think Pittsburgh's getting a penalty for too many men on the ice, Mark.
It is a too many men on the ice penalty at 15:31. Tough penalty for the Penguins because they appear to be coming on off that last shift. 15:31 the time. LaRouche serving it. And again, the Maple Leafs have the man advantage. On the face-off, they look to go.
You got to know this is a key game when you can't even drop the puck. Look at each other out. A fight starting to break out right there with number 12 for Pittsburgh, Greg Malone, one of their rookies this year, and number 10 for the Leafs are at it. So you know that tempers are high, frustration's at its peak in this game. It's a must game for both clubs.
Somming off the face. That's Somming, number 21. For McKenny, number 18. And Heron scooping it up on a whistle for an offside. Face-off coming up outside the Pittsburgh blue line. 4 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the first period. And the Leafs lead it 2-0 on goals by Somming and Turnbull. Face-off moves to center now. They call it a two-line pass for the offside. Sittler the center, McDonald on the right, and Thompson on the left. That is the Toronto front line as Anderson of Pittsburgh shoots it in. Turnbull back for it. Ian Turnbull with a right wing feed that is broken up, and Faubert dumps back in. Somming ahead for McDonald. McDonald around Anderson, but loses control. And Malone shoots it out of the zone. Art Somming back in his line. He and Turnbull combining on defense. Hard check throw that time by Faubert as the Leafs move down. McDonald stopped by Heron. And that will make for a face-off in the Pittsburgh end.
Number 12 for Pittsburgh Penguins out there, Marv. Greg Malone is hitting anything that's moving out there that's got a Maple Leaf emblem on it that shift. He must have had about 5 or 6 good hits.
Malone, a second-round draft pick and an 18-goal scorer. has played very well in this playoff series. This series even at 1-1, with Toronto winning here in Pittsburgh Tuesday night. Thursday night at Toronto, Pittsburgh winning 6-4 to tie it up. Somming, again the good save by Herron. Thompson centering, but it's broken up. Somming able to keep it in. A minute remaining on the penalty. Sittler is blocked out, and Faubert starts up. Moving on Somming, and drives one that carries wide. McDonald with the back pass for Sittler. Darryl Sittler across the Pittsburgh line for McDonald, stopped by Herron. And again, a good glove, as you mentioned, Terry, of the goaltender Dennis Herron.
We mentioned earlier he's got that glove. Captain Ron Schock has the most playoff experience of any of the Pittsburgh Penguins out there right now, and he is surely hoping to get his club back into contention. They're down 2 goals right now, but we mentioned numerous times it could be a lot worse than that if not for the work of Dennis Herron in the Pittsburgh Nets.
You mentioned he has the quick glove. Oh, we'll get back to that in a moment. Somming for McDonald. Knocked away by the Penguin defense, but Sittler keeps it alive. Somming. That time Herron got a piece of it. A bullet shot by Warrior Somming. And the Penguins clear it out. 25 seconds remaining on the penalty. So the Leafs will have to regroup. Sittler starts it up. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left in this first period. Maple Leafs lead it 2-0. Somming. Somming across the Pittsburgh line. Schock got a piece of it to break it up. Here come the Penguins. This is Vlad Chapman for Schock, who's taken down, and a penalty being called. Penalty against the Maple Leafs as Chapman and Schock made their move on the goaltender Palmateer. Penalty call on number 3, Bob Neely of Toronto. Following this first period, Terry Crisp, who's headed downstairs, will be talking with Lanny McDonald of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Lanny, a 46-goal scorer during the course of the regular season. Interference on Neely at 17:34. So the Pittsburgh Penguins will have the man advantage for the second time this first period. Face-off upcoming deep in the Toronto end to the left side of goaltender Mike Palmateer. Here's another look at that sequence that led to the interference on Neely. There's Neely, number 3, holding down Schock. Back to the live action. Penguins with the man advantage. That's Stackhouse. Throwing in front, but it's plucked by Palmateer, keeping it away from Kelly. Face-off again deep in the Toronto end. Only 11 seconds gone by on the penalty on Neely. Ferguson will face off for the Maple Leafs, and LaRouche for Pittsburgh. Palmateer dumps behind his goal, and it's clear to center by Thompson. Number 28, the rookie Faubert. Offside, with a couple of Penguins ahead of the play, both LaRouche and Kehoe. So face-off outside the Toronto line. Toronto, as you just saw, killing off 79% of power play chances against them. Carlisle whips it ahead. Thompson not able to clear. He's hemmed in by LaRouche. Carlisle moves behind his goal. Throws it to Ferguson. Ferguson fans as he tries to clear it. Carlisle can't clear out. LaRouche able to keep it and slaps. It's deflected wide. That's Kelly back for LaRouche. Kelly and LaRouche setting up the right point. He shoots and it's in the crowd. Deflected to the